Yes, guys, it is episode 5 of Bikini Insider with IFBB pros Kerry and Marnie. Today, another special guest, and you may have seen my post about Michelle Brannan. She's back on stage in 2025, and of course, we have Michelle. And let me do a little rundown of some of those honors because we have to also mention she was the first ever UK IFBB Pro bikini competitor. She earned her ticket to the Olympia in 2012, where she won the British Grand Prix. She competed. That's right? 2012?
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, it was in 2012 to earn, yeah.
Come on, I've done my research here, Michelle. I'm on it. 2012, you won your qualification. 2013 is when she became the first ever UK bikini competitor compete at Olympia. So, first ever bikini IFBB Pro for UK, first ever amateur Arnold's bikini winner, and first ever bikini competitor to compete at Olympia representing UK. I'm sure there's many other firsts because, in the end, you did put bikini on the map for the UK. That's Michelle Brannan. Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Michelle, look, I'm going to kick us off, and then I know Marnie Kerry's got plenty of questions. I'm going to start off with, you decided to come back on the stage. You're dusting off the bikini. We're all excited to see back on stage. What was the reason behind stepping back on stage now in 2025?
Well, I never actually officially retired. I just decided not to compete anymore. So, yeah, I always knew that I would get back on stage, but I just didn't know when. For me, it's just something, because it's been so long, it's just like part of my life. So I'm not going to say I'm going to compete forever, but I was always going to get back on stage. I think now I need that goal because a photo shoot doesn't do it for me. I can't make the effort that you make for a stage for a photo shoot. So I just need, I think I'm ready for that goal now to lean down and get back on stage.
So just so I know as well, talk to me about the shows or show that you're targeting. Like, in a perfect scenario, how would 2025 look for you on your return to the stage?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm just going to do one show or not. I'm not. I've been doing this for 15 years and I'm 43 this year. So I'm not doing it to be a competitor back in the scene trying to battle it out. I'm just doing this really for me. And because I want to be lean again, I want to get on stage again, I want to go through all that process again. So I don't know if I'm just going to do one or maybe I'll do a few. I don't know. It depends on how hard it is to diet. I mean, as you get older, it gets much harder to diet. And I only just started this prep, so it depends on how enjoyable it is. And then I'll decide.
Which show is it that you are looking at?
I'm going to do a Masters show in May in Seattle.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thing is, I have to say it, you look so young and fresh.
Yeah, you do.
You literally do. It's insane.
I decided to do a Masters show because obviously when I turned 35, I didn't want to accept the fact that I'm Masters, because Masters sounds so old. But now that I'm almost 43, I thought I might as well do it. I train lots of women that enter into the sport quite late, and they say, am I too old? Or, is there a place for me on the stage at like 35, 40? I've got girls that are 55. I've even had one that was 65. So I said, there's always a place for you as a master. So I feel like as I'm talking about that, I might as well go and do that myself and show them that you can still do it. It doesn't matter how old you are, really.
Walk the walk. I love that. Yeah, that's really cool, to be fair.
Yeah.
I was really excited to see you up there again. So when did you start competing again? Can you fill everyone in who isn't maybe up to date?
So my first show I did was in 2010. So I did a show, it was at the time Fame. I don't know if you remember. That was like the first bikini. It was from Fitness America or something like that. They came to the UK and it was taken over by a federation called Fame. So I really didn't know what I was doing. I thought I'm just going to enter a bikini show. Everyone thought I was nuts. And I just didn't eat very much, just got on stage, won the show. I looked like an anorexic. I don't know what happened there. So, and then bikini at that time it's just really just started. So that was the first time, the first year that UKBFF put that on. bikini in their categories and stuff like that. So that was the very, very beginning of bikini. So yeah.
When was your last show? Sorry.
My last show is in 2019, just before COVID. I did a Japan Pro.
Yeah. Freaking love that place. Isn't it an amazing show? Sorry, anytime Japan's mentioned, I'm like,
I love Japan. It was basically what I was doing was just choosing shows where I want to travel to, because, you know, why not? So I'll just pick different places, and I always wanted to go to Japan. I did like Japanese business communication at college.
Wow.
I can't speak Japanese, but I thought, I want to go there. So that was a really good experience. So that was the last show. Then after that, I decided I wanted to build my legs. So I spent like 3 years building my legs, and then sort of wellness came out. And then I realized that I'm not really wellness. No matter how hard I try, I'm not making it. And I don't know if I want to make it, because they are massive. So now I'm easing my leg training back a little bit, so I look more bikini. But I am very aware that my proportions now are not really, it's not really bikini. But as I said, I'm just doing it for me, to get back on stage and to show people that, like, after 15 years you can still compete. And competing is not unhealthy if you do it the right way.
100%.
I think it's really interesting, Michelle, to hear about like your why for doing this. And we've spoke about this before. I think sometimes people can get so almost like fixated on like achieving a title or a qualification or something like that. And that's amazing if that's your motivator. But clearly for you, it's maybe a little bit more deep rooted than that, when it is just for you and it's for your own development. And again, like almost leaving that legacy which you have throughout your career of like showing other women who have kids, and like, you know, the age is just a number. And I think, yeah, it's amazing like what you're doing. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I think there's nothing like getting a prep and getting on stage and that excitement and stuff. I think that the thing is, when I first started bikini, I didn't know what to expect, so there was no pressure. There wasn't really Instagram even. I don't think, I don't even know when I joined Instagram. Maybe it was 2014 or something like that. But there was more. I was under no pressure, and it was fun. But the more pressure you have, the more people are looking at you. It's not as fun anymore. So I think if you put too much pressure on yourself to do well, then it just isn't fun anymore. And the standard now is just so good. So yeah, I'm just going to bring the best I can for myself, really.
I want to touch on that, because 2010 is when you first competed. Now, in that period, it was only the year before bikini started with the IFBB, and of course then you moved to UK BFF and you had all that success. And of course, when you won your first pro card, that became a domino effect of, you know, it was one UK bikini girl would get a pro card each year. Melissa, Nina Ross, they're the ones that followed. But of course, you've been part of the evolution of the look that judges are looking for the bikini side, as it continues to develop to a point now they brought another category. So I'm really keen to understand what your thoughts of the evolution of the bikini look from when you started to what you're seeing now.
Yeah, I think that it's only going to happen in a bodybuilding situation where people push it to the extreme, and it gets more and more and more, you know. So someone's going to come with a better condition or slightly more muscle, or it's going to push that boundary. So we've seen over the 10 years or so where bikini girls were just, I mean, I've been in the gym 6 months before I stepped on stage and won a show, you know. And if you look back at those pictures, the girls weren't as developed as they are now, but a lot of those girls have been training that long to get where they are. So I think there is a development. It's bodybuilders get bigger, and the same thing for bikini. And I think they've tried to contain it so that you don't get too big, because the bikini girls are not big in real life. People, you might think, wow, they're massive, but they're not massive. But it's the conditioning and the quality that you're seeing, because people are just trying to get that bit better each time. So you've got to a point where the standard of bikini is very, very good. The conditioning is very, very good. And how do you then take that away from someone and say it's too much, so we're going to place you a little bit less? So I think what they've done with the fit model is a very good move, because then You can't really mark down a bikini girl for being too good, can you? How do you take that away from them? So obviously too big in size, then we go into a different category. But I think the condition is just getting more and more rewarded. So the new category gives an opportunity for people to enter into the sport without the expectation of being like, you know, what they're seeing in bikini. And also when you look from an outsider point of view, like when I first saw what was bikini, I was attracted to that. I don't know if I'd be attracted from an outsider to what I see now in bikini. It's about sort of sensitization. I mean, now I don't think that Arnold Schwarzenegger is very muscly, you know, so like you get used to, before you, wow, look him, he's crazy, he's muscly, but like what you get used to seeing. So I think it's a commercial move for them, obviously, and to get more people into the sport, which is the same as what happened with bikini, because when they introduced bikini, when there was only a figure or body fit, whatever it's called, even then was smaller than it is now. But yeah, so it's just, I think things do change, they do evolve to a certain point. I am really interested this year to see where bikini is going to go. Is it going to get bigger in size because they've got the I hope not, because I feel like it shouldn't be a big in size category. The condition, yeah, and whatever, but I don't want it to get big.
Yeah,
you know?
Doesn't
Like
need to
wellness. Wellness is, for me, I hate to say it, a bit too big for what I thought it was going to be. I thought, oh yeah, bikini girls with legs, but it is not bikini girls with legs, and they look amazing. So I'm not taking it away from that, but I like bikini now because girls have got legs, where back in the day they didn't. But I feel like if they just keep bringing the good condition and a little bit more muscle than the fit model, then that's a nice place to be. So you can actually train, because for me, I had to not train legs for bikini because my legs are growing too big. So you don't want to be in a position where you can't train for your category. So at least if they accept bikini the way it is now, people can train for that. And if you don't want to train that hard, you can, or you're just beginning your journey, then you can be in the fit model category.
Yeah, I feel like you were around, well, of course you were around when bikini was first introduced as a category, and I feel like bikini, not so much now, but even over the last few years, like there are still a lot of old school bodybuilders out there who almost like poke fun at the bikini athletes. Did you experience that, like yourself personally, when you started?
Well, this is what I feel like, you know, like when they brought the fit model out, I felt like it was personal to me, because I mean, I'm not going to be fit model, but I felt that was personal to me, because when bikini came out, I was like the example, and I had so much like abuse, basically. Like people writing on like, oh, look at that, it's just implants and skinny and she looks disgusting, and like abuse. And then I had there's one federation that has got bikini now who said, no, sorry, we don't do bikini. We don't believe in bikini. And it was like so bad. But no one liked it. It's like now when you look through the fit model, people saying, what's this class? It's ridiculous. It's just a money maker. It was exactly the same for bikini. And I was like the picture they put up to show this is bikini. And everyone's like, no, it's horrible. It's just tits and ass. So I really felt that when they put out the and then when they start, you've got lots of videos online with this girl that's won, who's absolutely stunning, and then everyone's pulling her apart. And I felt like sorry for her from my heart, because I thought, wow, I know what that feels like. Because they look at the posing, it's not that good yet, or like, no, well, she should be doing this. But yeah, it's an evolution. And I'm sure fit model is going to be a very attractive class for people to be in.
We agree. Yeah. We think it'll take off. Yeah.
I just want to go back to that, Michelle, because we actually interviewed Angie Miranda, and she was the first ever fit model overall winner. And of course, being the first ever means she's going to be the big talking point. She's going to be the person that everyone's kind of talking on socials, and therefore was covered so much. But so you talked about that kind of level of negativity that you were coming across when you first started. Of course, social media wasn't at the heights of what it is right now. But I want to look at the positive side, because when you were the first IFBB Pro card winner for the UK with the bikini class, what was the opportunities like back then? Because I'm sure it's very different from then to now. As I mentioned before, I've done a post before about it. Last year in 2024, 42 IFBB Pro cards were won in the UK by a
Wow.
mixture of competitors
I didn't know
across
that.
different categories. But you were the pioneer of the bikini side on the UK. So can you just talk to me a bit more about what that was like in that time of 2011, 2012, 2013, when you did go to Olympia? What opportunities were coming your way, and how did you use that to be the pioneer for the bikini category for the UK?
So back in the day, we had like once a year, if you're lucky, and sometimes that opportunity was taken away from you. If you had to be a British citizen for one, so that was a barrier to lots of girls that weren't a British citizen. Maybe they're Polish or something like that. So there was one a year, basically, one opportunity. So me being the first, I was kind of really lucky at the beginning because it was an amazing opportunity, and also there wasn't anybody training for bikini. You know, there was no coaching teams. I set up a coaching team, and I was the only person doing it. So that rewarded me a lot. So I was very involved in prepping other people for competitions and being part of the growth of that scene. And at that time, there was like one federation or two federations, not many bikini coaches, not many people turning pro because there just wasn't that opportunity to do so. So, I feel like competing has been very good to me. So this is almost another reason why I don't mind coming back to the stage. Some people are sort of done with competition and they hate it, you know, or it's given them some health problems or whatever. But for me, I've had a good experience from competitions and IFBB and whatever it's had to offer me. So I've had good experiences from competition so far.
Kerry, am I right to understand that on the Olympia point of view, has there only been 3 UK bikini competitors? 4? So could you
I think I'm the 4th. I think so. It's Michelle. I'm not sure who the
Nina Ross, didn't she compete at the Olympia? Yeah.
Karina Skorska.
Karina, and then Phoebe Hager.
And then
You
me.
got
So
5.
5.
But there's still not very many.
Pretty mad, isn't it? If I'm honest. And I find one thing really weird though, because I think this is really strange because me and Phoebe both started in the same gym, literally. And I think for such like a small number for us to both come from like the same gym, we both used to train together, everything. Like I think that's really strange that it worked out like that when it could have been so many more, you know?
Yeah, I think there aren't that many opportunities really considering for Europe. But I mean, if you want to get there now, like you have, you just got to slog it out. And I've watched you like with absolute tenacity, like slogging it out, coming backwards, not coming back forward to the stage, bringing a new look and just keep trying. So I don't think many people have got that in them to take the knockbacks, you know, to get back up and keep doing it. So I think in the US, what I used to think, I don't know about anymore, but they were like they would do more shows and take the knockbacks, take the feedback, go back again and not be so upset about not placing. Whereas in Europe, we were a little bit, I didn't win, I'm not doing that again. So maybe the mindset's changing. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
You brought up a good point here because you mentioned the fact that only 5 UK bikini competitors have qualified to compete at Olympia. Mm-hmm. Now, my question now, this is for all 3 of you. The category at Olympia that's seen the most dominance from one country has been bikini. You know, it is Americans are always dominating that category. You look at other ones, bodybuilding, you know, Samson won. And of course, there are other competitors from overseas in Asia. The men's classic physique is becoming Europeans, Wesley, Mike Summerfield, men's physique, Ryan Terry, Adi Bilal, you know, from Asia. So what is it? I'm really keen to understand for you 3. What is it about bikini where
I don't want to say that.
You know, UK European competitors are struggling to break into that top 5 mark, which America has such a stronghold? We're still yet to see some sort of consistency, which we are seeing in other divisions, but bikini, we're still not breaking there. I'm going to throw it to you girls.
Just a different look. I don't know how to.
So I think that over here, you can only judge what turns up at the end of the day, but they have gone for more of a like harder look, leaner look. But then you put that on the Olympia stage, and no one apart from Phoebe Hagen, 7th, like that's amazing. No one else has been able to do that because I think we've just not found the right like physique, and that's why I'm doing like 3 state shows before the Olympia, so I can be with people in the States just to find out, am I too lean? Have we pushed too much fullness? I just think like because we don't have the high level athletes coming over, like, you know, the Jazzies, the Laura Lees, like Ashley, like we don't have like anything to set it on. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
No, I
Yeah,
was say something else, but I do agree with you actually. Yeah. I feel like European judges, maybe they were sort of ex-elite league, I don't know, but they're good or whatever. Don't even know if I'm allowed to say that, but like the look they're going for is just the most muscular. They want to see the most extreme bodybuilding look, whereas in the US, it's not what they always look for. So I guess the look that you sort of get through the ranks with in Europe is not the same look as in the US. But also I feel like in the US, you're quite close to South America. You've got different type body shapes, and what works on stage is a certain frame that some European people don't have. Like you can't come on stage with wide hips or this kind of look that is more of a European look than maybe that sort of a genetic thing as well.
I think from the judging perspective, so like I placed 3rd at the NPC European in front of Tyler. So he was over. And then Tarek was the one who gave me the win. So like the judges are coming over to these shows.
I think it's more,
you can only judge what's in the lineup. I don't know.
I do feel like they're harder in Europe. They're definitely more harder look.
Yeah, there are softer people that show up at these shows. So maybe it's the structure, the hair, the polished look that maybe someone harder, leaner is bringing.
Do you think they've got more to choose from in America? Because if you've got more competitors and more to choose from, you get a better pool of people. So you've got like at the nationals, you've got once we went to the Miami Nationals, and there's hundreds and hundreds of competitors. So I mean, the shows here are not that busy. I mean, some of them are busy, but they're not busy like they see in America. So maybe they've got more.
The big European pro shows, when you've got a lot of girls that are very heavily muscled and very conditioned, and someone wins, it doesn't necessarily like that competitor won't stand out as in like for the wrong reasons because they're stood against other athletes who are also heavily muscled and conditioned. And then they go to the Olympia and they stand out like a sore thumb because nobody else who's in that top team has that look. Yeah, it's just like you said, like someone has to win. If everyone's hard and muscular, then the winner is going to be hard and muscular. And then, like, again, you go over to the States where the talent pool, and I use that word, it is a talent pool in the sense that, like, maybe the genetics are more superior in the sense that they have a different type of muscle. Like, we've heard the phrase, like, pretty muscle, where it's, like, bubbly, and maybe the physique maybe has a little bit more body fat to it potentially, but it looks right because they don't look overly dieted or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Also, in my opinion, that very much comes down to, so how do I put this? So like you take amateur competitor and you can't dial them in as much because like the muscle doesn't come through and they just then look too lean. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you look at someone like, let's say, Laura Lee, Jazzy, they can come in fuller because the muscle is pushing through like the skin. They've got more muscle. When you sit naturally more like heavier in muscle, you have more chance to manipulate the look. If someone with like less muscle hits the stage leaner, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna look Whereas I think they can look more bubbly and stuff because they have more density to them. So again, it's the time that you spend, I believe, and the way your physique is manipulated to fit that look. Like when I went to the States, I still had too much like body fat on me, but not enough glute density for it to push through. This year, who knows? Like I should have more density, be able to sit heavier and not as lean, but still have the glute ham tie-in, which at the moment at 58 kilos is still there, which is like 5 kg above. So like, is it going to be different?
So going back to my point then, is the answer then that bikini competitors, I mean, I talk about pro bikini competitors from the UK and Europe, they need to be doing their shows in America? Because I want to go back to the point that Ryan Terry made to me when we did the interview. His point was that more competitors from the UK and Europe need to be fearless to go over in America. Yes, those judges will come over, but it's only now and again, for 1 or 2 shows. They're judging 30, 40, 50 shows over there. So do they need to be over there? So we look at Rhea. She qualified for Olympia in America. Meg in America. Now Darwin on the men's side in America. All these people are going to Olympia, and they're going to be the exception to the rule. Kerry, you being one of them. That's going to be the odd exception, but the majority is you need to be over there to be seen by those judges who are judging on a regular basis, but also be seen next to competitors who are likely to be on the Olympia stage as well, not stuck away in Europe where...
It depends on what you want to achieve, because even if you try your very best, you might be placing top 10 Olympia, because we're looking at the very, very best. If you just want to go pro, then maybe you'll do a European show, because maybe it's easier. I don't know. But if you want to be top 6 Olympia, then we're really looking at genetics plus your ethic and everything you can do on top of that. Because just because you try really hard, because bikini isn't bodybuilding, is it? You can't just build, and then you're big and massive and you're going to win. So I think it really depends on, to get to the Olympia, to win a pro show, but then placing at the Olympia is a whole different ball game. But then again, if you want to be comparable to those people, then I think you do need to do the American shows, to stand next to people, see how you sit, and come in like they do, the styling, the amount of body fat, the softness, the hardness. And you won't see that if you're in Europe. But some people aren't going to be placing top in the Olympia ever, and no matter what happens. So I feel like it depends what you want out of this journey. And I'm not saying people aren't good, but if you just want to go pro, then and get to the Olympia, then European shows are okay, aren't they?
Yeah, agree.
I think strategy is everything when you choose your shows. Like whether you're an amateur who wants to turn pro, or you're a pro that wants to get to the Olympia, like that's why I look at always doing the US shows, because like last year for me, I really wanted to see where I truly stack up. So that's why I picked like the Texas Pro, because I knew that like Isa Puccini was going to do it. And like, you almost don't know until you get there. You don't know how you look until you're actually stood next to that person on the stage.
Completely different.
So, and I mean, then if I was to compare that to like Europa Pro, I came 10th. Like, I look so tiny compared to the girls in Europe, but then on the Texas Pro stage, like arguably I kind of fit in a little bit more with that look. So again, like I think it's strategic. Like if you want a qualification,
never compare. I mean, in the Europe now, never. I don't
really
never, but I would, because I feel like it's very hard look, and I don't know if that's what I want to bring. So I would always choose an American show.
I think
we had to like fit the mold. So like we knew, like for Romania, I knew it was a big show. There was 33 people there, but we knew that we need to come in harder, leaner, like drier, all of that. So it's really interesting. But then also on the flip side, Maz placed me second twice, but he also placed me 12th in the States. So he told me if I bought that look, that he placed me second to the States. then it would have been a
But
different story.
it's about what you compare to, isn't it? What you look like standing next to somebody else, because it's not. That's why I've been told they don't really judge the individuals, because you can't just you by yourself. It's just against somebody else. So it's how you look. So if everybody looks a certain way and you don't, even if you the best, you don't look like the lineup. So
100%, yeah. But yeah, I was frustrated because obviously this sport had no sponsor last year. This sport is expensive. I put all my money in to go to the States for the first 2 shows that I was going to do, but missed the condition and only really hit my season once I got back to the UK. And then I was like, my coach was like, okay, well, like we've done it, like you need more size. Then it was like, no, like get a little bit more condition, look a little bit more bigger and take it to Europe, get the qualification, then add the muscle, then go back to the States where we know your set point is now for being where you kind of need to be to manipulate it. It's literally a game.
Well, literally 2 different looks to have to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But it makes it fun. There's there's those looks that you like, and then like my favorite look isn't Romania when I won. It's not. So,
wow, that's really interesting. And I think, like, I totally agree with what you said there, Michelle, about like really the judges, like everybody on a pro bikini stage arguably fits the bikini criteria, right? Because we're all pros. But it's like, which one of these pros hits the criteria the best? Like, that's what it comes down to, really, because we arguably all fit the criteria. Like, there's an argument for everyone, really, especially when you're talking about, like, I don't know, top 10 at the Olympia. Like, on any given day, you could flip each person round in placings and there would be an argument for it. So, yeah, it
comes down to details, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Say, oh, I'm rooting for that person. I would like this one to win, but ask my mum, she'll say something different to me. So it's like it's when you're at top level, it's just details, I guess. But also different judges like different things. Some of them like a bit harder.
Yeah.
And that's perfect preference.
Michelle, I want to come back to you for a moment, and really keen to hear your opinion on this question, because like I said, you're a pioneer of the bikini division and you've seen the growth of not just UK bodybuilding, but the bikini scene. I want to understand on the UK side, which pro bikini competitors do you see at the moment that could really have a big impact on the bikini scene worldwide over in Olympia? Because I know you've got a very strong coaching business. You work with many competitors through your own brand. So I know you're very much still involved on the bodybuilder side, and you know you still have a keen eye on the bikini division. So who in the UK are you currently looking at? That could
we've got Kerry, haven't we, from the UK? We've only got Kerry representing the UK.
Well, we've got many of our IFBB pros who have got IPro status on the bikini side. Of course, Phoebe Hagen, obviously Marnie as well, and there's plenty of other girls. So yeah, it's just keen to see who, on your opinion, for someone who's been there, done it, and has been a flag bearer from the very start. Who do you see could be those next flag bearers for that division?
I think it's very difficult to say because as we've seen, that it's hard to get to the Olympia. So the only people that have been active at the moment are Phoebe and Kerry. So we can't really say this person is sort of, we don't know. So the standard is very, very good. So we are seeing really good athletes, and the standard is getting better and better, harder and harder. So it does come down to, it's not about getting lucky on the day, but it's about picking the right show, being judged by the right person, standing in the right lineup, getting there, and then making all those little details all come together on the day. So it's not, I don't see like one person like, wow, that they're going to make it. I think it's all about going through that whole process, and all those little details. When you're good, it makes a difference. Like, even if you get the hair wrong, or the color of your suit wrong, or your tan's if you look amazing, you work so hard, that you might look a touch bit worse than the next girl just because your hair's curly. And that sounds stupid, but a good level. If somebody walks out with looking, wow, look at her, and then you know, it doesn't work for you that day. So first of all, I would say, even now to get to pro, there are more opportunities in the UK, but the standard is higher, isn't it? So it's tough. So
to be a good pro, if that makes sense.
Sorry, I didn't hear out a little bit.
Like to be, there's lots of opportunity to turn pro, but like you say, like who is going to be a good pro?
And also
like,
it comes down to something I mentioned about you is like it's not just about your body, and it's about your mindset. So there's not many people that can keep going. I mean, how long have you been competing? It's probably the same, as almost as long as me, you know. So that's, when did you start competing?
2016.
Okay,
then,
so
yeah,
coming up for a long time, you know, and you've been I see you going from stage to stage and having that mindset of getting there, and a lot of people haven't got that, you know. So it's not just about bringing. I've trained girls and they are very, very good, and one girl win a pro show straight away, but she's never really done anything else after that, because it's just not, she could have, and she's very good, but she hasn't got that drive for. So you've got to really want it, because it's not fun in the last steps of the diet, and the not being able to go out, and the sacrifices that you make, the money you spend on traveling. You've got to really, really want to do it and keep going at it. So.
Even like you say that, like we've just been away on like a 4-day break. We had I've got 4 suitcases that I'm looking at. Like we did not skip a beat. We had to appreciate the small moments, because we know we're in bed at 8:30. We're up at 5. We're making supplements nighttime, morning, eating every meal bang on point. Like it's even in the off season. It's not even like that last bit. If you want it, it's like you don't make a day miss. Am I going on holiday this year? I'm going away, but it's literally a training camp, and we are literally eat, sleep, bodybuilding. Like, and that's because I just want to. I know I might not have the best genetics, so I'm like have to do everything else within my power around it. So I know I can get on stage and say, I have given my all. I have not skipped a beat, a missed night's sleep, nothing, like nothing. And I feel like, yeah, with the talent there is, that's how I feel I have to be if I want it. I'm either all in or I can't be half.
Yeah, I think that not everybody has that mindset. If they do, it doesn't last forever. So that's why you get competitors going, because sometimes you don't feel in, so you just have to pull away a little bit. But when you're thinking like that, then that's what you need, I think.
But then, like you also said, like I fully know that I could be doing all of this and then not get the place in that I desire. I'm aiming for top 10, but it might not happen. I can't say it's going to happen, but I think it would just reassure me to know that I didn't skip that in that part, because then I'm like, well, what would have happened if I did?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be doing this forever. So if you've given it your best shot, then you've got nothing to sort of look back and regret.
Exactly.
And then start politics and all this kind of nonsense, but because you know you've just given everything.
Yeah. With regards to your prep now, is it different in regard to how it has been in the past? That you training differently? Where's things at?
It's so much harder. I'm finding to sort of diet. I never really dieted before because I would get lean quite easily. Now, like not shifting as easy. And also I've had quite a long period of time of diet, as it were. So I've always eaten a certain way, but like to cut down is a bit of a shock. So I feel like it's a bit harder. Training wise, I spent sort of 3 years just training legs. So my legs are a bit too big compared to I've always had a bit of issue with the balance. You know, I don't have a very wide rib cage. I think for bikini you need to have like a V shape. So my rib cage is actually smaller than my hips. So it's not the best genetic for bikini the way it is now, because it's sort of lats and stuff. So my legs are a bit big in comparison to the upper body. So I need to train a lot more upper and try a little bit. But I don't know how that's going to look. I'm quite happy with the way that I look, but I know that because I coach people, what you need to look like and what you want to look like sometimes is different. different story.
Yeah.
Michelle, before we wrap up, I have to ask this question as well, because you've mentioned Japan, and I know, Kerry, you love Japan. I mean, everyone loves Japan. You talk about obviously focusing on the one show, but I have to mention, obviously, the Masters Olympia is taking place in Tokyo, in Japan. So there has to be an element where your one eye is looking at that show.
Yeah, that would be amazing to go back to Japan. Although I did put on like a stone in a week in Japan after my last show, just like stuffed myself. I couldn't stop stuffing myself to death because it was just so exciting. We'd go in like shops and there's like all these little bits and bobs. I couldn't even read the package, just eating them all. It was so much fun. But
It's incredible.
no, I would like to go back to Japan. I would need to win the show that I'm doing. I think I look good, but as I said, proportionally, I've been training legs more than body. And as a coach, I look at things differently to a competitor. I'm not emotionally involved in the way I look, thinking I really want to win. I really think I could win, because I can see maybe if someone can sort of a wider, better V shape than me, maybe that would look better in for what they want in bikini. So I can't expect to win. I'm going to try my best to look the best I can. If I would win, that would be good. But if not, then I'll be happy to just look nice in my pictures. Yeah.
Overall, that is the best feeling, isn't it? To actually look back at pictures that you're proud of.
Oh my God, it's like,
is like,
I'm not
there's no
even
better feeling.
to look nice in your pictures is like the main thing, because sometimes I look at them and think, oh my God, horrible. Oh yes, it's nice. So if I'm happy with the way that I look, then I'm happy, because there is times where I haven't been happy. So when I did my last show in Japan, I felt really, really skinny. My legs were really, really skinny in real life, and I didn't really like that. So I will be heavier than that, and my legs will be bigger, but maybe that's not what they want in bikini. I understand that, but at least I will be happy with what I look like, because I'm not chasing placings anymore.
Michelle, I don't know if you have an op, is that ask you this question, but do you have a family as well?
Yes, I have a 7-year-old boy.
A 7-year-old boy. So obviously your 7-year-old son, I'm trying to work with the dates now, he wouldn't have seen you competed, would he? Because you
he has. I did a show in LA 10 months after I had him by C-section, and there's some of my favorite pictures, but that was only 10 months after I had him. But I did that to make myself feel like me again. So he was there, but he won't remember. And then he actually did come to Japan as well, but he was only like 2 or something like that. He's not coming with me to the US though.
Is he not?
His really sad dream, he said, is to go to Walmart. He says, dream to go to Walmart. So I'm like, okay. But he's not coming. Sure. I'm just going to fly in, fly out by myself.
I'm sure you'll take out plenty of gifts for him anyway. Look, Michelle, I'm looking forward to following your journey to the Seattle show, and it's great to hear as well about where your motivation is in regards to it's not about the placing, it's not about the other competitors. This is,
if I'm last, I'm going to be absolutely upset if I'm last. But I mean, I have no real expectation at this stage. No one wants to. Everyone goes in to do well, and you've got to make preparations for that. Although there's no point in doing it. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing it because I can't diet for a first. I want to be lean again.
I love that.
There you go. Well, look, I'm hoping that it does lead to the Masters Olympia. So obviously, I know all of UK and the bikini girls, all the bikini girls and the competitors you've inspired since you started, and obviously, like I said, pioneered the division to allow, you took the negativity from the start to allow the division to grow. So other competitors like Marnie winning her pro card, which of course you're going back to the scene of where you won it in a few months, Kerry over Olympia, to be one of 5 UK bikini competitors to compete there, which still shows how big an opportunity the UK has to grow into the division and send more people, more flag bearers over to Olympia, which of course we all hope one day happens and we get double figures and it carries on. So
unreal.
Exactly. Michelle, wishing you all the best. I'm definitely going to be covering as much as I can lead up to the Seattle show. So wishing you all the best, and thank you so much for coming down today.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.